Welcome to Infinite Novel. Subscribe for more epic stories. All rights to original creators. It's for a good cause, I swear.
Chapter 6 Disclaimer: I do not own Naruto. Okay, Kakashi said after they made camp for the night. Is Tajuna sleeping? Sakura nodded. He should be out for a while and quite hungover tomorrow, so that will make him more irritable. He insults me and I'm still going to yell at him, Naruto insisted. Sasuke snorted. Please, did you see how he reacted when your father mentioned your relation? If anything, he'll start in on Sakura like he did this morning. If he insults her, I'm going to be on hand to stop her from killing him, Naruto vowed. That's the spirit, Kakashi said. Now, I can't believe we forgot to do this before we left, but we need to make a list. A list? Sakura repeated. Indeed. While this may have been over a decade and a half ago for me, it was still 6 years ago for you, Sakura, and some time in between that for the boys. As such, unless we pool our memories, we're unlikely to be able to use our future knowledge to our advantage, Kakashi concluded. So, what do you remember? I remember Sasuke trying to kill himself when we first met Zabuza, Naruto replied immediately. Well, I remember Naruto just standing around like an idiot the first time we got attacked and getting himself poisoned, Sasuke retorted. Which I then heroically neutralized while I valiantly declared that I wanted to go on, Naruto countered. If you had been anyone else, you would have bled to death, Sasuke pointed out. But I wasn't, so I didn't, Naruto replied, sticking his tongue out. So we met Zabuza before the battle that led to his death, Kakashi summarized. I think I remember that. I overused the Sharingan and passed out from chakra exhaustion. Very embarrassing. We tried to see under your mask but you wore, like, 5 of them, Sakura added. Serves you right for trying to abuse my trust, Kakashi sniffed. Trust? Sasuke repeated. You didn't trust us, you passed out. Which I felt secure in doing because of my faith in you, Kakashi replied. And then we were also attacked. We realized that because it's been dry and there were puddles. Anything else? I remember Naruto freaking out and scaring that poor rabbit half to death, Sakura said, glaring at her blonde teammate. Hey, be fair, Naruto implored, holding up his hands in self-defense. That was a diversion by Zabuza and the way we knew he was even there. I reawoke my Sharingan for the first time since the massacre and heroically but stupidly sacrificed myself for Naruto, Sasuke offered. Good thing, too, as that was one of the pitifully few things that convinced me that you weren't a complete bastard after you ran off with that pedophile, Naruto told him. Sasuke made a face. God, you're making it sound like we had an affair. I don't need to hear about your time in Oto, Sasuke, Naruto said virtuously, then hid behind Sakura as Sasuke lunged at him. That was also when I first accessed the Kyuubi chakra and started to learn how to properly use my own. Oh, and I met Haku in the forest and thought he was a girl. Who's Haku? Kakashi asked blankly, having perhaps less of an idea who Haku was than before they had gone back. The kid in the mask who pretended to be a hunter nin when you were going to kill Zabuza, Sasuke replied. He trapped us in those ice mirrors. His story was so sad, Naruto said sympathetically. I'm glad Zabuza realized that he was more than a tool to him in the end. Inari's story was sad, too, Sakura pointed out. I don't remember all of the details, but it was something about how his hero and adopted dad was put to death by God to terrify the villagers into submitting to him, and so Inari was all traumatized and Sasuke-like. But unlike Sasuke, it just took Naruto yelling at him and then saving his life before he got over himself and recruited the villagers to help stand up to God as men, who then fled in the face of civilians armed with gardening tools, Kakashi remembered. When you get them that cheap, you have to expect a decline in quality. So, was that it? I think so, Sasuke said. Oh, except for that we all need to stay away from the water when Zabuza's around or he can trap us there with almost embarrassing ease, like with Kakashi. You know, Kakashi said, looking at him seriously. You're lucky I'm not that kind of person, or I would totally swear vengeance on you for that. Oh, shut up. So are you sure you guys are up to protecting me? Tajuna asked nervously a few days later. Of course we are, Kakashi answered smoothly. Konoha wouldn't have assigned us to this C-rank mission fraught with such perils as bandit raids and squirrel attacks. Squirrel attacks? Tajuna repeated skeptically. Kakashi shrugged. I've seen it happen. Right, Tajuna said, clearly deciding to just let it go. It's not like I doubt Konoha, but I heard you haven't managed to pass a mission yet. Who told you that? Sakura asked. Quite a few people actually, Tajuna replied. They seemed to think it was some kind of accomplishment. It is, Naruto insisted. Of course, I managed to cause us to fail more than Sasuke dash, which a typical and in most cases a bad thing, Sasuke interrupted. It's not like we failed them, Parasi, we just used alternative methods of carrying them out and not all of them were successful. Like what? Tajuna wasn't sure he wanted to know. Like that time we decided to try fighting fire with fire and ended up burning down the house a lot quicker, Sakura said, ruefully shaking her head. In our defense, it was Kabuto's house, Kakashi added, not that that actually meant anything to the old bridge builder. Or that time with Tora, Sasuke, was it really necessary to use Tsukuyomi to let it see what it was like to have an army of the daimyo's wife smothering it? Yes it was, Sasuke said, crossing his arms. It needed to see that its situation could be worse and that scratching me is not acceptable. I regret nothing. You never do, Naruto sighed. Hey, everyone watch out for this puddle. They're always easy to miss on days when it hasn't rained in a week. If it hasn't rained in a week, why are there puddles? Tajuna asked sensibly. Magic? Naruto suggested. Genjutsu? Sasuke offered. Ninjutsu? Sakura tried. Alas, I am slain, Kakashi said as shuriken chain cut him in two. Nice try, but the log was already dead, Sasuke said flatly. Naruto quickly created 4 cage Buushin, 2 to hold each of the 2 attackers back. As the so-called demon brothers struggled to free themselves, Sakura punched one of them in the face, knocking him out, and Sasuke used a katon on the other, causing severe third-degree burns. I would say that was overkill, Sasuke, Kakashi said as he reappeared as if nothing had just happened. But I know you were just trying to avenge Naruto's stab wound. Stab wound? Tajuna asked. He didn't get stabbed. Kakashi shrugged. It happened a while ago. Sasuke's eye twitched, but he said nothing. Even if these two were almost ridiculously out of our league, they still are more than simple bandits and I strongly suspect that they aren't squirrels. They could be working for squirrels though. Is there any reason a squirrel might be out to kill you? Kakashi asked gravely. No. Gato is, though, Tajuna confessed. Gato? Naruto asked. You mean that guy who's slowly crushing the life out of Wave? Yes, Tajuna said, surprised. You've heard about our plight? Hokage-san, Naruto replied easily. I hear a lot. You should know, then, how much of a threat my bridge represents to Gato. If we can finish it, if there is another way for people to travel and trade in and out of Wave, my people won't need to go through Gato anymore and he stands to lose quite a bit of money. Tajuna sighed heavily. I can see how you might be tempted to abandon me, of course, then my poor, beautiful daughter would be all alone in the world. Nice try, Sakura told him, but Kakashi's engaged and his fiancée is one of the scariest people I've ever met, and my cute little grandson will swear vengeance. Tajuna tried again. We'll do it, Naruto said practically before he finished that sentence. That last thing this world needs is more people out for vengeance, Kakashi concurred. Agreed, Sakura nodded. Seriously. Go die, Sasuke said flatly. Sasuke, I thought you were past this, Kakashi said, sounding disappointed. I can always give my therapy jutsu another go if you'd like, Naruto volunteered, trying not to sound too eager. Another eye twitch. Hey Sasuke, think fast, Naruto said before lobbing a kunao at him. They had just arrived in Wave after a very long and boring boat ride and apparently Naruto decided hurling deadly weapons at his best friend with little warning was a good way to relieve that boredom. Sasuke quickly got out of the way. What the hell? Nice aim, Kakashi said, eyeing the snow-white rabbit Naruto's kunao had pinned to the tree. I take it this means Zabuza's around? Rolling her eyes, Sakura quickly moved to free the frightened creature. He better be or I'm going to take my annoyance about Naruto needlessly traumatizing this poor creature out on Naruto. Naruto gulped and looked around quickly. Over there, he said, pointing to a tree. Sure enough, Zabuza was standing on top of it. Man down Kakashi, Zabuza said. No wonder the demon brothers were no match against you. They say you know over 1,000 jutsus and never leave anyone behind. I liked my old nickname better, Kakashi said idly. Sasuke snorted. Kakashi didn't actually do anything against the demon brothers. Not true, I faked my own death, Kakashi corrected. Not very convincingly, Sakura said. It fooled you last time, Kakashi pointed out. Last time we were idiots, Sakura replied. Not going to argue with that one, Kakashi muttered. So, Namikaze Zabuza, the demon of the mist. I see you've heard of me, Zabuza said, sounding pleased. Demon? Naruto asked skeptically. He doesn't look like a demon. He slaughtered his entire graduating class, Kakashi explained. So? Naruto shrugged. Does he have red eyes? Can he grow claws or fangs? What about having a seal to stop the demon from being released? Is he just called that because Kirigakure was jealous they didn't have a Jinchuriki? Wasn't the previous host for the Sanbai the Yandere Mizukage, Yagura? Sakura asked. Zabuza growled at the name. And also because they were ignoring him. Is he the one you tried to kill? Naruto asked sympathetically. Don't feel bad for failing, he was possessed. Literally. I'm going to kill you all very slowly and I'm going to enjoy it, Zabuza informed, unsheathing his giant sword. In response, Naruto called forth his Rasengan, Kakashi created a Chidori, Sasuke activated his Mangekyo Sharingan, and Sakura concentrated her chakra into her fists. As Kakashi was about to deliver the finishing blow roughly 5 minutes later, a Senbon was past him and hit Zabuza in the neck. I was about to do that, Kakashi muttered. Thank you so much for wearing my target down for me, Haku said from up in a tree. I have been searching for him for quite some time. You wanted to kill Zabuza? Sasuke asked. Indeed. It is quite important to my village, Haku responded. Why didn't you just wait 2 seconds for Kakashi to finish him off then? Sasuke pressed. I didn't want there to be any chance for him to get away, Haku lied. Well, Kakashi said, examining the corpse, he's not moving and doesn't appear to be breathing so there is a good chance that he's dead. Only a good chance? Sakura asked. Isn't that kind of the, I don't know, definition of being dead? People can't live without breathing, you know. Kakashi shrugged. I've seen it happen. Kakashi's right. Naruto said suddenly. He might become a zombie. Quick, let's cut off his head. That's really not necessary, Haku said, moving quickly beside his mentor. If it will make you feel any better, though, I'll make sure to do that when I dispose of the body. Thanks again for your help. With that, he was gone. So, which way to your house? Kakashi asked Tajuna, who was standing there frozen. You guys are incredible, he finally managed to say. Well of course they are, Kakashi said matter-of-factly. They're my students, after all. I had no idea you were this good, Tajuna said, shaking his head in amazement. Kakashi shrugged. I was in Umbu for a while. Of course, I really wasn't quite suited for it, but, why not? Sakura asked. Well, I came with my own mask, which was a plus, but since everyone already associated it with me, it didn't do much for concealing my identity, Kakashi explained. So, directions? Inari, say hello to these people. They are the ninjas who protected your grandpa, Inari's mother, Tsunami, told him when he got back home. Team 7 had already been there for an hour or so. But mom, these people are all going to die, Inari protested, pouting. That's no reason to be rude, Sakura told him sternly. Everyone dies. We've known lots of people who have died. In fact, a good friend of ours died once. Of course, he got better, but that usually doesn't happen. There's no way you can win against Gato, Inari. Chapter 7 Disclaimer: I do not own Naruto. Why are you still here? Inari demanded, annoyed, at breakfast few days later. You escorted Grandpa home, you can go now. We could, Naruto agreed. But then he would die and that would make the whole escorting him safely home thing kind of pointless. This whole thing is kind of pointless, Inari said mockingly as he stood up and went back upstairs. Your attempts at getting through to him not working? Sakura asked sympathetically. Not really, Naruto groaned. He's so stubborn. Why don't you just use your therapy jutsu on him, Sasuke asked. The air quotes impossible to miss I would, Naruto said, except it loses most of its effectiveness when not accompanied by physical violence and I don't think I'm allowed to hit the client. Especially not if the client is an 8-year-old, Kakashi concurred. Naruto's eyes widened suddenly. One of my clones dispelled. Ever since the arriving at Tajuna's house, Naruto had left 2 clones out all night. The first was to pretend to be him, training so hard that he passed out, and the second was to conceal itself and then dispel if Haku happened upon him. Go after it, Kakashi ordered. And Sasuke, why don't you go, too? You haven't gotten a chance to take revenge on anything in at least a week. And if I don't? Sasuke asked out of habit as he stood up. I thought today we'd start on water walking, Kakashi replied. Sasuke and Naruto practically bolted for the door. What are we supposed to do while they're gone? Sakura asked. Kakashi raised an eyebrow at her. You don't really mean we're going to practice water walking, do you? Sakura asked. After all, it's been nearly a week, Zabuza could attack at any moment, we need to guard Tajuna. I agree, Kakashi said innocently. You do? Sakura asked suspiciously. Absolutely, he said airily. Which is why it's fortunate that this bridge is, like most bridges, built over a large body of water. Why do you hate us? Sakura asked despairingly. What have we ever done to you? Well, for one thing you spoiled the end to one of Jiraiya's books, Kakashi told her. That was Naruto, not me, she pointed out. I didn't see you trying to stop him. Then you ruined my bell test. And finally, who's to say I hate you? Maybe I'm just trying to get you ready for the upcoming Chuunin exams, Kakashi said in his best instructorly voice. Don't mess with the bell test, got it. Is this the plant you want? Clone Naruto was asking Haku as Naruto and Sasuke arrived. Haku nodded. Thank you for helping out. You sure are working early. Naruto trailed off. I'm sorry, I'm not always the best with genders. My first instinct is girl, but I've spent too much time with Niji and Itachi over the years to make any assumptions. And for that matter, I'm still not sure Deidara was a guy. Haku smiled kindly at him. I am, indeed, a male. You're not just saying that so I'll sound stupid referring to you as a guy, are you? Naruto asked. Because I've met some androgynous people who have done that, you know, we may very well never meet again, so why would I do that? Haku asked. Naruto shrugged. For the hell of it? I can only offer you my word that I am, indeed, a boy, Haku said. But seeing as how you don't know me, I don't quite know how much that's worth. Naruto eyed Haku carefully. I believe you, he said finally. I'm glad. So why are you out here so early? Haku inquired politely. I fell asleep outside, Naruto explained. My teacher's making us climb trees until we pass out. He's kind of evil. Calls it training. Training? And that forehead protector, could you be a ninja? Haku asked, sounding vaguely interested. Yeah, if you ever want to do something exciting, you've got to be a ninja, Naruto explained. Although I suppose working at Ichiraku's wouldn't be too bad. Where are you from? Haku asked. Konoha, the greatest place on earth, Naruto said proudly. Is it, now? Haku asked, smiling a little. Oh yes. In fact, we haven't had a bloodline massacre in, God, must be 4 years now, Naruto said cheerfully. Konoha has bloodline massacres? Haku asked, alarmed. I thought Konoha was a safe haven for those with a Kekii Genkai. Oh, it is, Naruto assured the other boy. That was complicated and the work of a missing nin. Just not in this timeline. Why are you training? Haku asked, changing the subject. Because Kakashi threatened to make me spend 3 days watching everyone I know eating ramen nonstop by not letting me have any, Naruto explained. And then he said something about squirrels, but I was too horrified to really listen. I see. Haku said. Oh, and also because I want to protect the people I care about, Naruto said. But my immediate reason for being here was the no ramen. So you have someone who is important to you? Haku asked, choosing not to focus on the ramen obsession. Naruto shrugged. Yeah, I do. I have lots of precious people, actually. Losing them is hard and I don't think I'd survive the loss without other precious people being there to try and fill the void. When a person has something important to protect, that's when they can truly become strong, Haku declared. I agree, Naruto said solemnly. Let's meet again sometime, Haku said, standing up. I know you will become strong. You are such a sap, Sasuke whispered to the real Naruto. Oh shut up, what was I supposed to say? Naruto shot back. Besides, I like Haku. God knows why, he tried to kill you, Sasuke muttered. Not very hard, Naruto countered. And I wouldn't be talking about attempted murder, Sasuke, since you had to have Orokai freaking Maru talk you down from killing me. Will you just let that go already? Sasuke demanded. Sure, the minute you stop calling me an idiot because I graduated last in the class, Naruto promised. Sasuke snorted. You didn't even graduate, it was an act of God. Figures you'd call Orochimaru God. With that, Sasuke and Naruto decided Haku was sufficiently ahead of them and followed him back to Zabuza's hideout. It was slow going as Haku was very cautious, but they eventually made it. I sense 3 other chakras besides Haku and Zabuza's, Naruto said quietly. Is that Gato, do you think? I have no idea what his chakra is supposed to feel like, but who else would be there? Sasuke asked. It's times like these I miss Karen. Karen? Naruto repeated. Isn't she the one who tried to drug you? Okay, so maybe I don't miss her that much. That's him, Sasuke said, his eyes trained on the man who had just exited the hideout. He and Naruto silently followed them until they were about a mile away from the enemy ninja and then they struck. Naruto slit the two guards' throats with a kunao and Sasuke snapped Gatta's neck with a well-placed blow to the back of the head. Wow, Sasuke, I didn't even know you knew how to fight without the Sharingan, Naruto said, sounding deeply impressed. Sasuke scowled. And I didn't know you could fight somebody without trying to save them from themselves. That only applies to ninja and the odd civilian I've gotten attached to, Naruto explained. Mercenaries are on their own. Sasuke crouched down next to Gato. Let's just see if he has any handwriting sample on him. After digging through the dead man's pocket for a moment, he found a half-finished letter. Perfect. Activating his Sharingan, Sasuke sat on the ground, pulled out another piece of paper and began to write. So, what are you doing? Naruto asked when Sasuke was still writing 20 minutes later. Forging a will, Sasuke said like it was obvious. Oh, who did Gato leave everything to? Naruto asked, curious. He left the entirety of his ill-gotten fortune in trust to Namikaze Abusa, Sasuke said, to use as for the express purpose of returning Wave to its former glory. Naruto stared at him. Are you sure that's a good idea? Sasuke shrugged. The way I see it, if he's happy in Wave, he's not bothering us. Oh, and now he can come one step closer to making Kiri like he thinks Konoha is because he'll have experience with reforming a place and with the power that money will give him the Mizukage won't dare go after him. Naruto exclaimed. I just hope he doesn't let the power go to his head. Sasuke shrugged again. It's not our problem either way. Naruto glared at him. We don't live in a vacuum, Sasuke. What happens in one nation affects the others. Save the politics for someone who cares, Sasuke said, signing Gatta's name and two names he knew but couldn't quite place as witnesses. Now pick up the body and let's go. They quickly made their way back to Zabuza's hideout. Before they could reach the door, Haku opened it and stood staring at them. May I help you? He asked, recognizing Naruto easily since they had parted only an hour ago. Yeah, we thought you might like this, Naruto said, dumping Gatta's body at his feet. We were a little surprised at the contents of the will, though. Will? Haku asked blankly. Here, Sasuke said, shoving the paper into Haku's hands. Go start a revolution or something. It was nice seeing you again, Naruto called. And if you could just not attack Tajuna again, that would be great. After all, it wouldn't do to ruin the economy of your new country. God is dead, Sasuke announced upon returning to Tajuna's house for dinner that night. And that took you 10 hours? Kakashi asked skeptically. No, we were sparring for the rest of the time, Naruto explained. We never really get a chance to fight properly and so we couldn't very well lose this opportunity, now could we? Gato, dead? Inari repeated. There's no way idiots like you managed to kill him. We did, Naruto confirmed. It wasn't that hard, really. It helped that we caught him off guard. So does that mean the mission's over? Sakura asked. Or should we stay until the bridge is complete? It should only be a few more days, Tajuna offered. Let's take a vote, Kakashi said. All in favor of leaving now? Sasuke raised his hand. All in favor of staying and helping? Naruto and Sakura raised their hands. As I'm abstaining so as to remain impartial, that's 2-1 in favor of staying. Sorry, Sasuke, Kakashi said. Sasuke sighed. Whatever. Just as long as when we get back we can tell everyone I got the Manjikyu. It would probably be easier to stick to the truth of what happened before with Haku except Naruto took the Senbon for me, not vice versa. It's nice, simple, and could easily happen. Alright, Naruto agreed. Even though me dying is kind of lame, at least I heroically took the attack meant for you that might very well have killed me. You didn't kill Gato, Inari insisted. Stop lying. Why is that so hard to believe? Sakura asked gently. I mean, I wasn't there but I know Naruto and Sasuke wouldn't lie about something like that. If they say he's gone, he's gone. No one can kill him, he's too strong, Inari insisted. Naruto shot his teammates a look that clearly said somebody share a sob story. I would do it myself, but I don't technically have one here besides losing a mother I don't remember the day I was born. Naruto's looks tended to be very expressive. Sasuke just stared back impassively and Sakura had also technically never lost anyone. Kakashi sighed, knowing it was up to him. He still didn't like talking about what had happened, but it had become a little easier after meeting up with his father in the afterlife that one time he was dead for an hour or so. My father died too, you know, Kakashi said conversationally. He wasn't put to death by your father was while he was a big hero, but he might as well have been. He was a hero and an inspiration to everyone until he took a mission and had to choose between completing it and saving his teammates. Inari said nothing but it was clear he was listening. Everyone turned on him, Kakashi continued. His friends, the villagers, even the very people he had saved. They said that choosing lives over the mission made him trash and, in the end, he took his own life. That really affected me and for a long time I was obsessed with making sure no one thought I was like him and became obsessed with rules and regulations. Inari looked skeptical. Really? What happened to change that? My best friend told me that my father was a hero, Kakashi said simply. Only he wasn't my best friend then, he was just some annoying kid I was stuck on a team with. Then he almost died trying to save our other teammate and forced me to choose her over the mission as well. In the end, we were able to both rescue her and complete our mission, but it was close and even if we hadn't been able to, I wouldn't regret it. Your father stood up to Gatta because he believed that what he was doing was wrong and that somebody had to do it and he was clearly inspiring people. Gatta killed him to try and crush that courage and you know what? It worked. It would be a shame for your father to have died for nothing. If things go back to the way they were before, or worse, then that will be the case. There is no worse death than a pointless one. There are heroes in this world, Inari, and your father was one of them. Things will get better. Inari said nothing for the rest of the meal but looked oddly pensive. So this is it, then. Subscribe to Infinite Novel for more adventures. Chapter 8 Disclaimer, I do not own Naruto. Note, there seemed to be some confusion as far as Zabuza's fate. He's not actually in charge of Wave any more than Gato was. Gato was richer than God, though, and Wave had no other real economy besides him. Since Zabuza wanted to make Kiri better and now has quite a bit of money which has to be used for the benefit of Wave as the only stipulation, he and Haku are playing benefactor. After all, what better way to justify his attempted coup than by proving he can lead better than Yagura? And basically it's either that or continue on as mercenaries. How will they fare? Better than Gato at any rate. When Team 7 returned from their first official C-rank mission, Minato and his team insisted on taking the new Team 7 out to dinner to hear all about it. Itachi and Harano Kaisuke and Mamako were invited as well, but Sakura's parents felt they would really be far happier not knowing the kind of danger their daughter faced now that she was old enough to do so regardless of what they thought and declined. So I trust you didn't encounter any problems? Minato asked. Sakura coughed. Didn't Kakashi give you the mission report, Hokage-sama? Minato laughed. Right. Kakashi won't have that in for a good 2 weeks, I'd say. Why, it turned out that Tajuna was lying about it being in C-rank mission and we had to fight 3 missing nin, she explained. Minato turned to glare at his student. Kakashi laughed nervously. I didn't mention that. No, you did not. Kakashi's busted. Obito grinned. I'm sure he has a good reason, Rin said. Or at least a reason. Although it is entirely possible that he just forgot. Your support is touching, Kakashi said dryly. We try, Rin said sweetly. What happened, Kakashi? Minato demanded. It started off pretty basically, Kakashi began. A few days in, however, we were attacked by the demon brothers of Kiri who I'd say were around mid-Chuunin level. Naruto immobilized them while Sakura and Sasuke took them out. Apparently Tajuna was threatening a tycoon named Gata's stranglehold on the economy of Wave with his bridge, so Gata was trying to have him killed. We fought Zabuza - the demon of the mist. Minato interrupted, glancing at Naruto as if he expected him to be secretly maimed or something. Yes, Kakashi nodded. We managed to drive him off after a long and trying battle, and then just when I was about to finish him off, a Senbon came out of nowhere and incapacitated him. It turned out to be a student posing as a Kiri hunter nin who saved him and nursed him back to health. Did he come after you again? Rin asked, concerned. No, Kakashi shook his head. He probably would have, but by the time he had recovered Gata had died of natural causes - natural causes. Naruto snorted. His neck was snapped. Or was his throat slit? No, those were the bodyguards. I think dying once your neck breaks is very natural, indeed. Especially given all the people I know who wouldn't die under those circumstances, Kakashi defended. Anyway, Gatas will left his fortune to Zabuza for some reason under the condition he would use it to rebuild Wave. Zabuza seemed willing to give it a shot, so here we are. Wow, Obito said, shaking his head. You can never just get a normal mission, can you? I know, Kakashi agreed. It's strange. At least there were no squirrel attacks, though. Not again - Sakura began, but stopped when she saw the look on Obito's face. He looked traumatized. So, many, squirrels. It's okay, they're gone, Rin comforted him. You mean that really happened? Sasuke asked in disbelief. Of course it happened, Kakashi said, sounding almost offended. You honestly think I'd make something like that up? I'm not even going to dignify that with a response other than this one informing you of my decision, Naruto said flatly. So that's all that happened? Minato asked. You don't know anything about this sudden change of regime and Wave? Not really, Sasuke lied. Something weird happened with my Sharingan, though. Oh, Itachi spoke up, sounding concerned. Yeah, Sasuke nodded. It's like it's different now. See, with that, he activated his Mangekyo Sharingan. Did anyone other than Gato and his guards die on your mission, Sasuke? Itachi asked sharply. Sasuke feigned confusion. I don't think so. I mean, when we were fighting Zabuza, Senbon was heading right for me but Naruto jumped in front of me. We thought it was Zabuza's accomplice pretending to be a hunter and trying to hit Zabuza and missing because we were all moving around. And what did the Senbon do once it hit Naruto? Itachi pressed. Sasuke looked down. I thought he was dead. He stopped moving, stopped breathing, he was dead and it was my fault because I didn't notice the Senbon and Naruto did, and even if he is an annoyingly optimistic idiot, he's still my best friend. It's called the Mangekyo Sharingan, Itachi explained quietly. It can only be acquired from the guilt and grief of watching someone you love die and blaming yourself. It's extremely powerful but corrosive, which is why we are fortunate that Tsunade-sama found a way to counteract the effects. That was significantly less traumatizing than Itachi's initial explanation, but since before he was only feet away from his parents' still warm bodies, he supposed it would almost have to be. Do you have one, too? Sasuke asked innocently. Yes, Itachi answered shortly. I'll show you how to use it later. The massacre, Sasuke supplied. Even if he didn't want to talk about it, ever, he couldn't very well mention Shisui's tragic suicide, and since everyone knew Itachi was there when Orochimaru was, that would be the most logical time for it to have happened. Itachi was spared having to say anything when Obito tactfully spoke up. You're lucky, Sasuke. I've kind of wanted one for a while, but Kakashi fakes his own death so often that I'm immune by now. Speaking of, Kakashi said, pulling out a kunao. I think I'll give you another shot right now. It won't work if you announce it, Obito groaned. Don't. You dare, Minato said, an evil look in his eye. We need to talk. Talk? About what? Kakashi said nervously. I don't think there's anything we need to talk about. In fact, I'm almost positive that there isn't. Anko's getting back tonight, though, so I really should be going. When, exactly, were you planning on mentioning the fact that you let my son die? Minato demanded. Okay kids, time to go, Obito said, quickly standing up heading for the door. The rest of the party had enough sense to follow him. Since Team 7's return, they had been working almost non-stop on their taijutsu and, in Sasuke and Sakura's case, bringing up their chakra reserves. It got to be a bit tiresome after 3 weeks, but there wasn't really anything else for them to do as they were banned from taking D ranks and Minato was hesitant to give them another C rank so soon after their C-turned A rank mission to Wave. Hey look, it's that bird, guess that means it's Chunin exam time, Kakashi announced cheerfully. Aren't the foreign delegations going to arrive really soon? Sakura asked. Like, sooner than they should be able to make it? Why in the world does every other nation find out about this before us? We live here. I knew when the exam was, Naruto offered. Sasuke rolled his eyes. So? You're the Hokage's son and can't mind your own business. It would be weird if you didn't know. I'm going to go get you guys signed up, Kakashi told them. Unless, of course, you'd like to wait another 6 months until the next exam and keep working on your taijutsu. No, that's okay, Sakura said quickly. We can handle it. Besides, Neji and Gaara won't beat sense into themselves, Naruto added. You won't be able to convince them you understand their pain so easily now that you apparently have none, Sakura pointed out. That's fine, Naruto said easily. We'll just make Sasuke do it. Like hell, Sasuke said bluntly. I prefer to do my angsting in silence, thank you very much. If Orochimaru still invades, which he might or might not as Jiraiya says he is still part of Akatsuki, then you would get a chance with Gaara anyway, Kakashi pointed out. Wait, Orochimaru's still part of the Akatsuki? Sasuke asked, surprised. He only left because he tried to steal Itachi's body and failed, remember? Naruto asked. And since Itachi is still in Konoha and not around to scare him away, why wouldn't he be a member? True enough, Sasuke agreed. Well, if you're sure then I'm off to go nominate you. Remember kids, Kakashi said cheerfully, if you don't all pass on your first try then so help me I'm signing you up for Guy and Lee's early morning training for the next year. Looking rather pale, the 3 soon-to-be Chuyunins nodded their understanding. So how do you think the exam will go? Sakura asked once Kakashi was gone. The first should be easy as long as you don't inexplicably try and give up and make me give an inspirational speech to stop you again, Naruto decided. Hey, Sakura flushed. I was just trying to help you out and protect your dream. Kind of stupid, though, Sasuke pointed out. Considering that the other nations never would have stood for it if some of their most promising genins could never be Chuyunin because Konoha wanted to make their exam more interesting. Cut me some slack, I was 12, Sakura protested. And the smartest person there besides Shikamaru, Sasuke pointed out. The second phase should be easy as long as we keep away from Gaara and if for some reason Orochimaru comes after me again I'll just trap him in Tsukuyomi. Why not that fire thing? Amaterasu, Naruto asked. Amaterasu, Sasuke corrected absently. And we'll be in a forest so that would be a spectacularly bad idea, even if it would probably kill him. Oh, right. The only problem should be the finals where even if you win you still might not pass, Naruto said. Actually, I passed the first time I entered the finals, Sakura pointed out. When I took the test with Koji and Ino while you guys were gone. And I passed the first time my fight lasted longer than 5 minutes, Sasuke added. So really, that's only you who somehow managed to fail. Naruto twitched. You passed at the same exam I did. Oh, that was funny, Sakura giggled. You guys at 17 being 2 of the most powerful ninja around going up against a bunch of frightened 12 and 13-year-olds. It's not that funny, Naruto grumbled. We almost didn't pass because everyone we were up against in the finals forfeited. Fortunately, our fight was enough to convince them, Sasuke said. Well of course, Sakura told them. Everyone knew you deserved the rank by that point, it was really just a formality. Naruto spun around suddenly. For the last time, Konohamaru, rocks are not square nor do they have eyes. Yes they do, a muffled voice replied from underneath the rather shoddy rock impersonation. Rocks don't talk either, Naruto continued, nor do they follow me around. Ah, you caught us, Konohamaru said, clambering out from underneath his disguise along with his 2 friends, Udon and Mogi. Will you play ninja with us again? Naruto shrugged. Ah, why not? It's not like we have anything else to do anyway. Yay, the Konohamaru Corps cheered. Why do you keep making up play ninja when we're already the real thing? Sasuke demanded. Because it's either that or more chakra control techniques, Naruto said flatly. Besides, Konohamaru's great. Did you hear that? Konohamaru whispered excitedly. Boss said I'm great. He is kind of adorable, Sakura decided. Konohamaru looked up at her. Hey, I've been wondering, are you boss's girlfriend? No, she's my teammate, Naruto explained. Are you that guy's girlfriend? Konohamaru asked, jerking his head towards Sasuke. Yeah, we all decided no dating until after we make Chuyunin, Sakura said hurriedly before Sasuke got a chance to respond. Ah, so it's a love triangle. Konohamaru nodded wisely. It's really not, Sasuke told him, but Konohamaru wasn't listening. Sakura and her teammates sitting in a tree. He sang, running off followed by his 2 friends. I'm going to kill him, Sakura said flatly. Don't do that, Naruto implored. He's 8. Fine, Sakura relented. I'll just maim him. With that, she took off after him, leaving Sasuke and Naruto no choice but to follow. When they reached Konohamaru, he was being held off the ground by an irate Kankuro. "Watch where you're going, why don't you?" he growled. "Oh my god, is that what I think it is?" Naruto asked, horrified. "That would probably depend on what you think it is," Sakura answered, uncertain as to what Naruto thought he was doing. "Evil," Naruto cried, pointing a trembling hand in the direction of the Sand siblings. "He's pure evil." Kankuro and Temari looked uneasily at Gaara, who was watching the scene impassively. "Boss," Konohamaru asked. "Get away from him, Konohamaru, he might eat you," Naruto warned him. Poor Kankuro was so shocked he dropped the boy. "See, he just dropped you." "Evil, I tell you," Naruto insisted. "Wait, you mean me?" Kankuro asked incredulously. Naruto nodded vehemently. "Why are you scared of Kankuro, of all people?" Temari said. The when Gaara standing 2 feet behind him went unspoken, of course. 3 words, Naruto said, taking a deep breath. "Evil. Soulless. Puppets." Sakura nodded her understanding. Naruto had always been kind of creeped out when Kankuro decided to use Sasori as his newest puppet. Kankuro had insisted that he needed a new puppet as Sasori had broken his old ones and that it was just an extremely powerful puppet, but Naruto had been firm in his belief that it was essentially their opponent's corpse. "Naruto has puppet issues," she explained. "Not that severe, but if Naruto wanted to be dramatic, who was she to stop him?" "So do I, for that matter," Sasuke said idly. "I mean, I won't run away terrified like Naruto's on the verge of doing, but they're still rather disturbing." "You do?" Sakura asked. "I didn't know that." "Oh yes," Sasuke confirmed. "My brother and my cousin Shisui took me to a Bunraka theater once. Well, suffice to say that was the most traumatized I've been since the massacre and the second most traumatized since that snake attacked me in the forest. Even now, it ranks pretty high up there." Naruto looked confused. "Shisui would have died before the massacre though. Don't you mean Obito?" Sasuke rolled his eyes. "Yes, Naruto, I mixed up 2 of the cousins I've spent the most time with." "Who do you take me for?" "You." "Hey," Naruto protested. "That may not have been phrased perfectly, but I meant that before the massacre it was my most traumatizing memory, it was the second most traumatizing thing after the massacre, the third most after that snake attack, and so on." "You're scared of me?" Kankuro repeated, still stunned. "Yes, please don't come any closer," Naruto entreated. "But, what about him?" Temari asked, nodding her head towards her much more intimidating younger brother. "Why would we be scared of him?" Sakura asked innocently. "Because he's..." Temari began automatically. "A Jinchuriki," Naruto supplied. "How did you know?" Kankuro demanded. "My Jinchuriki senses were tingling," Naruto deadpanned. Sasuke rolled his eyes. "You do not have Jinchuriki senses. Then how did I know he was a Jinchuriki?" Chapter 9 Disclaimer: I do not own Naruto. "Are you sure you want to go through with this?" Minato asked his son the morning of the Chuunin exams. "It doesn't matter if I wanted to or not," Naruto said grimly. "Kakashi threatened to make us train with Guy for a year if we don't." Minato winced sympathetically. "Well, I just don't want you getting involved with something you can't handle." "You don't think I can handle this?" Naruto asked, a little hurt. Minato shook his head. "No, that's not it, it's just, this is dangerous. Really dangerous. You could die and I know you faced death on that A-rank mission you took, but Kakashi was there to protect you and now you're all on your own." "I'm not all on my own," Naruto corrected. "I've got Sakura and Sasuke with me and we're going to kick ass." "Is that so?" Minato asked, sounding amused. "Believe it," Naruto declared. "And besides, since I've recently achieved my lifelong dream of having a bridge named after me, I need to make Chuunin to make progress on my other lifelong dream of becoming Hokage." Minato raised an eyebrow. "You had a bridge named after you? Was this in Wave? Do tell." "Mom, Dad, I'm going to take the Chuunin exams today so I won't be going on any missions for the next 2 months or so," Sakura announced. Mamako looked puzzled. "You're taking more tests? I thought you would be done with that when you graduated." "So did I," Sakura laughed. "But this is to see if I'm ready to be promoted." "I'm sure you'll do fine," Kaisuke told her confidently. "You've always been good at tests." "Thanks," Sakura beamed, heading for the door. "I may not actually be home tonight or for the next week or so, and if that's the case then it's because we're doing a survival test, so don't freak out or anything." "Good luck," Mamako called after her daughter. "Are you nervous?" Itachi asked. Sasuke looked up from his breakfast. Since today was a big day, he was having tomatoes despite their status as usually not a breakfast food. If Naruto could have ramen every day for breakfast, then Sasuke could have tomatoes occasionally. "No." Itachi looked at him skeptically. "Really, what's the worst that could happen?" Sasuke asked rhetorically. "People have got to stop asking that," Itachi said, shaking his head ruefully. "And you could die, for one. Or fall into a coma. Or get permanently disabled. Or dash." "Thanks for the vote of confidence," Sasuke interrupted a bit petulantly. "Relax, Sasuke," Itachi told him with a small smile. "I'm not saying it will happen to you, just that it could happen at the exams. In fact, I'm sure you'll do just fine." "Then why do you think I should be nervous?" Sasuke countered. Itachi shrugged. "Everyone's nervous at their first Chuunin exam, right? Even you?" Sasuke asked, surprised. "You do realize I was 2 years younger than you when I took it, right?" Itachi reminded his little brother. You still won, Sasuke pointed out. True, but even if you don't you could still make Chuyunin. Just give them a good show, Itachi advised. I've got to go, Sasuke said, standing up and popping the last piece of tomato into his mouth. Itachi stood up as well to poke him in the forehead. Be good and don't fail. Hey, Kakashi, I was wondering something, Obito said slowly. What's that? Kakashi replied. You know how genin teams have to complete a minimum of 8 missions in order to be eligible for the Chuyunin exams, Obito began. Kakashi nodded. You wouldn't think just going shopping or babysitting a few times would qualify you, but then again I suppose that's why this is the first time in 5 years rookies are entering. Your team took quite a few missions, I'll admit, Obito continued, but they only ended up passing the wave escort mission. Even if that was technically an A-rank mission, it still only counts as one. How in the world are they allowed to compete? Kakashi froze. That's a damn good question. I suppose my team did find all the lost pets they were supposed to, even if Sasuke did end up traumatizing them, and since they didn't lose, maim, or kill the children they were watching, those would count, even if they aren't allowed within 10 feet of those missions anymore. Or it could just be blatant favoritism given that Naruto is Minato-sensei's son, you are his student, and Sasuke is my cousin, Obito teased. We're going with the first one, Kakashi said firmly. So ready for the big exam? Anko asked, coming up behind them. I believe my students are properly motivated, Kakashi replied. Plus it will let me off the hook as far as that punctuality thing goes. You are never going to be off the hook, Anko informed him seriously. Yeah, you think it's bad when you're dating or engaged to someone? Obito asked rhetorically. Wait until this is over and you get married. It's like Rin made it her mission in life to make sure I wind up where I need to be on time. She's given me plenty of tips as an engagement present, Anko said cheerfully. Kakashi groaned. I knew I should have stayed single. What was that? Anko asked, pulling out a kunao. I love you, Kakashi offered weakly. That's what I thought, Anko said sweetly. So who's proctoring the third exam? I heard Hayate was going to do it but realized that with his chronic coughing it might make his job difficult. I volunteered for that, Obito answered. In fact, I was actually the one who convinced Hayate that it might be a problem. Proctors don't necessarily have a very large speaking role, especially for the tournament part of the exam, but in life or death situations the match has to be called quickly, and if he's suffering from a coughing fit someone might die. That would make us look really stupid, Kakashi decided. So you both are proctors, huh? I'm feeling kind of left out. You lost your opportunity to proctor when you entered your kids into the exam, Anko told him. Besides, the only part left would be if there were to be a preliminary round and you wanted to do that instead of Obito or the written exam part, but Ibiki really is the best choice for that. I don't know, Obito said thoughtfully. While I would agree that Ibiki is far more intimidating than Kakashi, Kakashi would probably manage to piss them off and get them to lose their composure more easily, thus narrowing the candidates down. After all it takes is one idiot with an "I'll never give up" speech to get through Ibiki's final test, and that wouldn't really work with the deal with Kakashi's eccentricities final test. True, Anko agreed. It's a little late now, though, and Team 7 is in the exam. We should recommend that for the next time this is held in Konoha. You guys are the worst friends ever, Kakashi said flatly. But you'd be lost without us, Obito grinned. I could easily replace you with a rock, Kakashi insisted. A memorial rock, but still. Team 7 walked onto the second floor to see a sizable crowd standing around watching a mildly hung Izumo and Katetsu beating up Team Guy. How they thought that would be inconspicuous was anyone's guess. Naruto, of course, went right up to the disguised Chuyunin. Excuse me, can you move? Sorry, kid, we're weeding out the weak, Izumo told him. If you want to enter the exam room, you're going to have to go through us, Katetsu agreed. Yeah, that's great, but you're blocking the way to the stairwell, Naruto shot back. Stairwell, one of the grass nins who may or may not still be associated with Orochimaru repeated. Look, just because Konoha comes off as rather eccentric doesn't mean we have a different labeling system, Sakura told him heatedly. I applaud your dedication to weeding out those unworthy of becoming Chuyunin, especially if you think that some of the applicants aren't actually capable of telling the difference between the numbers 2 and 3, Sasuke added. The genin surrounding them all suddenly found the floor and slash or ceiling extremely fascinating. Well, I suppose your team at least passes, Izumo decided. Not that we would have expected otherwise from the stacked team, Katetsu muttered. Oh, you only wish your team had been as awesome as ours, undercover exam proctors, Naruto declared. Did they say they were undercover exam proctors? And AIM Genin asked. Gotta go, Katetsu said as he and Izumo quickly left. Excuse me, what is your name? Lee asked as he came up beside Sakura on the walk to the correct room. Harano Sakura, Sakura replied. And you are? Rock Lee, Lee told her with a smile. Would you like to go out with me? I'll protect you until I die. That's certainly very thoughtful, Sakura told him. Tragically, needing to be protected is one of my biggest pet peeves in my teammates, and I decided that puberty would be a lot easier to handle if we didn't date anyone until we made Chuyunin, so I'm going to have to decline. So, if you make Chuyunin and I make Chuyunin, we can go out, Lee asked hopefully. If we both make Chuyunin, ask me again after I've gotten a chance to get to know you better, Sakura told him. I'm not the kind of girl who will go out with someone because they're cute, cool, or strong without getting to know them first. Since when? Ino asked, latching onto Sasuke. You nearly ended our friendship because you didn't think friends could be rivals, remember? Thankfully Naruto and Sasuke have long since convinced me otherwise, Sakura said smoothly. So you're in this exam too, Ino? Yep, Ino nodded. And that other team that graduated with us. Is it really that difficult to remember who we are? Kiba demanded, also showing up with his team. We only had classes with you for 4 years. If my precious Sasuke-kun were on your team then I'm certain I would remember you, Ino sniffed. I'd be careful of dismissing Team 8, Ino, Naruto warned her. They have Shino. So, Ino said, not seeing a need for concern. He does bugs, Sakura explained. You don't want him on your bad side, let's just say. Ew, Ino made a face. Bugs are so gross. Please do not be so troublesome as to let Shino hear you say that, Shikamaru advised her. It would not end well for you. Sakura used to like that boy, Lee pointed at Sasuke. Then I shall challenge him to a fight in order to prove that I am a worthy competitor for her heart. You'll do that by beating up my teammate before the Chuunin exam starts, Sakura asked skeptically. Your faith is truly touching, Sasuke said sarcastically. As to the fight, I would, really, but I don't think anyone here needs a preview of my skills and unless you make it to the inevitable one-on-one portion of the exams, the simple truth is you will not be worth my time. Oh, I'll be there, Lee said determinedly. Are you planning on getting off anytime soon? Sasuke asked irritably. Nope, Ino said cheerfully. Sakura, how mad would you be if I were to use dash? Sasuke began. Don't even think about it, Sakura told him sternly. Ino's my best friend, even if she is a fangirl. Fine, Sasuke grumbled and used a substitution jutsu instead. A log, Ino complained. No fair, Sasuke-kun, though for the record, Sasuke told her quietly. Her fangirlism was never near as obnoxious as watching the competent kunoichi who helped Naruto convince me to come back to Konoha revert to a silly little girl who would break her most important bonds for the sake of a pretty boy. Yeah, well, thanks for not letting me, Sakura said, a little embarrassed. So you're not a fangirl anymore? Tenten asked. What? No, I outgrew that quite a while ago, Sakura explained. Good, Tenten said vehemently. Because to any serious ninja a fangirl is just about the worst thing to be and I don't want to have to salvage the reputation of Konoha's kunoichis all by myself. What about Hinata? Sakura asked. She doesn't like Sasuke. Tenten raised her eyebrows. Have you ever seen the way she looks at Naruto? Point, Sakura conceded. Kiba, I think Koji wants to eat your dog, you should be careful with it, Hinata said quietly. What? Kiba yelped. Is that true? Maybe, Koji admitted. I'm hungry, just eat one of your boxed lunches, Shikamaru advised him. You brought over a dozen. But I might need those to fortify me in between exams, Koji protested. If you try and eat Akamaru, he could very well try and eat you back, Kiba warned. Can you all try not acting like you're 5? Niji asked, standing as far apart from the group as he could without being rude. I agree, Kabuto said, approaching them. You guys should be more quiet. You're just out of the academy, huh? Who are you? Shino asked. I'm Kabuto, Kabuto replied. But don't worry about that. Look around you. The future Konoha 11 plus Sasuke looked around. Quite a few people were glaring at them. Those guys behind you are from a megakure. They have short tempers. Everyone is nervous about the exam. Quiet down before you cause a scene, Kabuto advised. If these people can't deal with a little noise then there is no way they are qualified to be Chuunin, Sasuke said coolly. And if they start a fight they'll just get thrown out of the exams. I don't see any reason to keep it down. Hey, Kiba, is it just me or does this guy smell like snake? Naruto asked. Kiba sniffed. You know, you're right, he does smell like snake. I do, Kabuto asked, seemingly puzzled. That's strange. I don't like snakes, Naruto told him. Snakes remind me of vampires and vampires are evil. So is this your first time, too? Ino asked. No offense, but you look quite a bit older than us. Oh, no, actually this is my 7th time, Kabuto told them, looking a little sheepish. Wow, you suck, Kiba said bluntly. If I don't pass by 5, I'm just going to resign myself to being a failure who can't beat a bunch of 12 and 13-year-olds and quit. It's not all bad, Kabuto insisted. I know quite a bit about the exam and have ninja info cards on everyone here. How would your retaking the exam repeatedly help you get information on the people who are just now taking it for the first time? Shikamaru asked lazily. Well, does anybody want to see the cards? Kabuto asked, holding them up. I do, Kankuro said as he walked up to them, Temari and Gaara not far behind him. He pointed at Naruto. Tell me about him and his teammates. Kabuto took 3 cards out of his deck. First up is Namikaze Naruto. He's the Hokage's son, and is a Jinchuriki. He has very high ninjutsu and is above average in taijutsu though his genjutsu is almost non-existent, Kabuto said. Then there is Uchiha Sasuke. He is one of 3 Uchiha to be left alive after the massacre 4 years ago. He has strong ninjutsu and taijutsu and exceptional genjutsu as well as already gaining the Sharingan eye and evolving it to its 2nd level. Finally there is Harano Sakura who is taking shifts at the hospital to be a medic nin with decent ninjutsu and taijutsu and very high genjutsu. Their sensei is man down Kakashi and together they have. He trailed off, looking at the cards in disbelief. What? Kankuro growled. Together they have failed every D-rank mission they have ever been on and have been permanently banned from all future D missions. They have one C rank that had turned A rank and successfully completed it, Kabuto finished, his voice somewhat shaky. Don't you have to have passed 8 missions to take? Small channels thrive with your support. Subscribe. Chapter 10 Disclaimer, I do not own Naruto. And remember, outside of the second task, killing equals disqualification, so please wait to sate your bloodlust until after the exams. Ibiki finished explaining the exam's code of conduct. But Gaara wasn't disqualified last time because he fought me, Sasuke whispered to Sakura. So how did he manage to not kill anyone during the preliminaries? Sakura thought back. He fought Lee, remember? He crippled him and Lee had to undergo that life-threatening surgery and rebuild all his skills from scratch. Sasuke shook his head. No, I had my own medical issues I was dealing with back then. Instead of your current seating arrangements, you will be assigned a number, Ibiki explained. Please form a single file line. Once again, everyone was split up and once again Naruto was seated next to a fellow rookie. Unlike before, however, it wasn't Hinata. Yes. Naruto cheered. Best seat ever. Why? Where are you seated? Sakura asked. I'm right next to Shino. Naruto explained happily. And that makes it the best seat ever. Why? Sakura asked again because she knew that, curious or not, Sasuke was never going to. Of course, Naruto nodded. Shino does bugs, after all. We know that, Sasuke felt the need to remind him. So you should see why I'm loving my seat arrangement, Naruto shot back. Just tell us, Sakura sighed. Termites are a kind of bug, Naruto informed them. You mean? Yep, Naruto nodded gleefully. Shino is my ultimate Kankuro defense. For the love of God, you do not need protection from me. Kankuro burst out from a few feet away. Naruto was rather loud, after all, so he'd heard half of the conversation at any rate. Although if you keep this up, you're threatening me while trying to convince me that you're not evil? Naruto asked incredulously. Temari, Gaara, I applaud you for staying sane as long as you have. Temari's eyebrows rose. And now my sanity is being compared to Gaara and not in a maybe you should spend less time in the sun kind of way. Alright, find your seats, Ibiki ordered. As they were finding their seats, Sakura pulled Ino aside. Ino, if you use your jutsu on me, I'm going to give you an impromptu haircut like mine. If you use it on Sasuke, he'll probably go on a revenge date with some other girl. Aren't you going to warn me off copying from Naruto? Ino asked, shuddering slightly at Sakura's threats. I would, Sakura acknowledged. But since if you tried it with him the Kyuubi could very well eat you, so I think I'll let you use your own judgment. Looking distinctly pale, Ino resolved to pick a different team to cheat from. Team 7 paid little attention as Ibiki attempted to psyche them out and hint that they needed to cheat while advising them not to do so carelessly. Sakura wondered briefly why, seeing as how they practically advertised that you could cheat 4 times with relative impunity, anyone would cheat more than that. Granted, that meant getting only 4 answers, but all that was important was making sure you didn't get 0, or all that was supposed to be important. Begin, Ibiki said, and the race was on. 20 minutes into the exam and the competent ones were just figuring out that they were supposed to be cheating when Sakura threw down her pen triumphantly. Done, she called, wisely turning over her paper and glaring pointedly at Ino to minimize the chance of anyone being able to cheat on her. Sasuke and Naruto said nothing but started writing faster. Another 10 minutes into the exam and Sasuke also put down his pen after thoughtfully penning some advice to the examiners. If you want to make us cheat, you should try giving us some harder questions. Granted, only Sakura, and, he supposed, Shikamaru if he could have been bothered, had been able to answer the questions as genin, but for those who had already passed the exam it had just been a matter of doing the work. Damn it, Naruto growled, finishing up 5 minutes after that. Why am I always last? Because you suck, Sasuke said bluntly. Quiet down back there or we're taking points, Ibiki warned. They probably should take points anyway as the conversation could very well be coded, but the girl had only said one word and both boys had only started to speak after they had finished. Right after Naruto finished, Kankuro suddenly had to go to the bathroom and what Naruto's puppet senses very clearly declared to be a puppet handcuffed him and escorted him there. It was creative, he supposed, and audacious, but given the fact it had puppet lines on its face, how could Kankuro honestly not realize that he was being allowed to get away with it? Or was that part of the lousy security Orochimaru had convinced them Konoha had in order to persuade them to invade? Finally, Ibiki seemed to decide enough teams had been weeded out. Now, for the 10th question. Let me preface this by saying that you don't actually have to take the question. Once you agree to take it, though, you have to answer it. What happens if we choose not to take it? Temari asked curiously. Then you fail, obviously, Naruto told her, enjoying his complete and total lack of desperation. Otherwise what would be the point of having a 10th question if you didn't need to answer it and there were no penalties for not doing so? Indeed, the boy whose teammates managed to beat him in the exam is right, Ibiki said. Hey, I did it without cheating, how many other people can say that? Naruto demanded. Kabuto raised his hand. You're practically ancient, Naruto said dismissively, and this is your 7th time so you don't count. Not only will your teammates fail if you fail, but if you do take the 10th question and get it wrong then you will never be able to become a Chunin. Ever. Your teammates, however, will be able to reapply in 6 months, Ibiki told them. Didn't Naruto say that Kabuto guy took the exam 7 times, though? Kiba questioned. How does that work? I haven't been a proctor at Kabuto's other exams. This year, I am so I can do basically whatever I want, Ibiki declared, looking like he was about to burst into maniac laughter at any moment. No one wanted to be the first to quit, so no one said anything for a minute. I'm out, one of the plants finally announced. Looking pissed, his teammates followed him to the doorway. Me too, another plant said. And me, an actual genin disqualified themselves. It was kind of tiring, watching team after team that had traveled all this way to Konoha back out at the first sign of difficulty. Finally, only 17 teams remained including, of course, the 4 from Konoha, Kabuto's team, Gaara's team, the potentially secretly Orikimura team, and the Oto team. So are the 51 of you that's left absolutely sure that you want to do this? Ibiki asked them seriously. For about the 30th time. Look, your cunning plan to annoy us into quitting is pretty brilliant, I'll admit, Naruto said tiredly, but our sensei makes annoying people a hobby and already threatened to make us train with Guy in the morning until he showed up if we don't pass. Ibiki blinked. Doesn't he start training at 4:30? The better to get the most out of the youthful hours when the sun is just rising. Lee confirmed excitedly. We can't take that for a year, Sasuke confided. So no matter how many times you ask us, we're not giving up. The exam proctor winced sympathetically. That's the spirit, Anko throwing herself through the window and throwing various weapons at the genin still seated. How else will you get your revenge? I really wish you wouldn't encourage him, Anko, Naruto said, shaking his head. There's nothing wrong with a little encouragement when it comes to reaching your goals, Anko replied innocently. There is when it's Sasuke, Sakura muttered. Anko, I wasn't done with the test yet, Ibiki told her tersely. Since the first portion of the exam is clearly over though, you guys pass. Ha! Ino gasped. Why? Ibiki opened his mouth to explain but Anko beat him to the punch. You'll take too long, she told him frankly. You were supposed to cheat unless you're some kind of genius or have been a genin for far too many years. If you sucked at cheating and got caught being obvious 5 times, you were out. If you agreed to take the exam or hypothetical dangerous mission, then you at least have the broadest characteristics of a Chuunin, and if you're too scared to take it, then you don't deserve the title. Who are you? Kankuro demanded. And why did you throw deadly projectiles at us? I'm Anko and I'll be your second examination proctor, Anko announced. As for why, well, if you let it hit you then you wouldn't be ready to be Chuunin. So you tried to kill us? Kankuro repeated. Oh, good point, you haven't signed the waivers yet. Anko mused. Well, follow me and we'll get right to that. Is it too late to quit? Kabuto asked. Yes, Anko snapped. But don't worry, you'll get a second chance after the second exam. That won't be very helpful if we die, Kabuto pointed out. Then don't die. Honestly, kid, if you're this worried maybe you should have quit while you were ahead a long time ago. Anko muttered, heading off towards the forest of death and expecting the Chuunin hopefuls to be following her. So how do you think they're doing? Minato asked. Kakashi looked up from his ever-present book. Apparently the various changes they made, Minato being alive, Naruto being a part of his life, forcing him to actually spend time in Konoha, had made enough of an impact on Jiraiya that his books were different. Not to say they were really any better or worse, and definitely not more appropriate, but it was nice not to have to wait until they reached the point where the author had originally died to get some new material. My minions? They aren't your minions, Kakashi, they're your students, Minato said, trying to look stern and failing. Really? Because back when Obito and Rin joined us to form a team you were singing a different song, Kakashi countered. That was Jiraiya-sensei who called you guys my minions and then he said something about how he was going to write a spy smut novel, Minato reminded him. You didn't correct him, Kakashi insisted. It's Jiraiya-sensei, Minato pointed out. Would correctly him really have done any good? I suppose not, Kakashi conceded. That was a good book he wrote about that. Although I was a bit put out that the character that was based on me didn't get the girl. Well, to be fair you didn't get the girl, so if he wanted to be accurate he had to have Obito's character end up with her, Minato said levelly. True to life? Kakashi snorted. Have you ever read those books, Minato-sensei? As the Hokage who must set an example for his people, I'm afraid I cannot answer the question one way or another, Minato said virtuously. Yeah, set an example alright, Kakashi shook his head. You know, there's a reason Naruto calls every other shinobi he meets a closet pervert. I'm starting to think there's a correlation between ninja power and perversion, Minato confessed. As the only other way to explain the fact that all powerful ninja are raging perverts is some sort of societal problem I might be forced to address. I can definitely see the connection, Kakashi said quickly. You just want to be able to read your books in peace, Minato accused. Kakashi merely shrugged. Oh, that's right, I never did answer you about my minions. I think they'll be fine. Are you sure? Ibiki is the first examiner, you know, Minato said anxiously. Kakashi rolled his eyes. He's not going to torture them without a waiver and Anko said she's handing them out at the second exam, so don't worry. There's always psychological torture, Minato pointed out. Your son doesn't actually believe in giving up and making him doubt himself will just make him come back 10 times harder, Kakashi assured his mentor. I know but I'm still not sure he was ready. I mean, a lot of the exam is about teamwork as solo missions are usually a jounin-only thing and he's known Sasuke for years so they should be able to work together alright, but what about the other one? Haruno Sakura? Minato asked. He never really interacted with her before you wanted her on your team. You met her at the dinner, remember? Kakashi asked. It might have taken a while, but she and the boys have the whole camaraderie thing down pat. Taken a while? Minato repeated. They've been a team for 4 months. And what a 4 months it has been, Kakashi said. So she's not a fangirl then? Most kunoichi I've seen have been at that age. Although by the time of their first Chuunin exam they are usually over it, Minato acknowledged. She's over it as well, Kakashi replied. Rin was never a fangirl even when she did have a crush on me. Minato shrugged. I think it was the war. Let's hope we can keep the peace as long as we can, Kakashi said sobering. Especially with all the sacrifices we've had to make. Minato nodded his agreement. I agree with you that the Chunin exam is an excellent time to strike with all the foreign nationals running about, and hopefully our increased security will be enough to make sure that if anyone tries something they won't succeed. One final word of advice, Anko said after she finished explaining the rules and mildly molesting Kiba, who couldn't keep his mouth shut and got a kunai wound to the cheek that she just had to lick. Don't die. That's good advice, Naruto decided. Subscribe to Infinite Novel for more adventures.